I wish to thank you for what you did for me today, Mr. Carton. Who said these words? Charles Darnay said these words to Mr. Carton. I don't want thanks. I don't want even know why I did it, Mr. Darnay. Let me ask you a question. So he did not accept his thank and he did not tell the reason. He did not know the reason why he helped him and asked him a question and asked him that may if he can ask him a question. Of course, anything. Okay. So Charles Darnay, he said for that he can ask. Do you think I like you? Who said this? Mr. Carton. Sydney Carton, he asked this to Charles Darnay. Darnay was surprised by the question but answered truthfully. He was surprised when he said, if I like you. Really, Mr. Carton, I have not asked myself. Ask yourself now. And really, Mr. Carton, I like you. I have not asked myself. I don't know about that. Then ask yourself whether you like me or not. You act as if you do, but I don't think you do. Means to say you do like how you think. You act as if you do. Means how you think, how you do. And but I don't think you do. But I don't think you do in the way. You act in that way. I don't think I do. You are right. I know you are right here. I don't think so. I do how I act there. Well, I hope we will part good friends and you will let me pay the bill. Charles Darnay said these words to Carton. As Darnay paid the bill and rose to leave, Carton called out abruptly. Hurriedly he called him. What he said, I wish to tell you something. I care for no man on this earth and no man on earth cares for me. He told him the reality that he did not care any man on this earth and not even a single man cares for him. That's a great pity. You have many talents, Mr. Carton. For that, Mr. Charles Darnay, he told that you have many talents. You are a very talented man, but that's a very sorrow that nobody cares for you. Maybe so, maybe not. Darnay, good night. Maybe I'm right or maybe I'm not right. And then he bade him good night. When his companion left, Carton put his head down on his hands and fell asleep on the table in the tavern. When Mr. Darnay left from there, Carton, he put his head on the table where he was sitting and he felt asleep there. At about 10 that night, the waiter in the tavern came and woke Carton. At about 10 o'clock, a waiter came there and then he woke Mr. Carton. Is it 10 already? He said, shaking his sleeping from his head. He got to his feet and walked down the street to where Mr. Stryver had his office. Stryver was busy in front of the piles of paper when Carton walked in. And then when he got up, he came to know that he was very late and he went to Mr. Stryver. You are late, Sydney. So what is the name of Carton, Mr. Carton? Sydney Carton. What's his name? Sydney Carton. Just a quarter of an hour. And he asked him, you are late. And he told only an hour. By the way, Sydney, how do you think of that identification trick? Now, how that matter was solved? He inquired about that. Who? Mr. Stryver inquired about that matter. How he saved the life of Charles Darnay. What he said, by chance really, I was thinking what a handsome fellow he was and how much like him I might have been. For that he said, there is no special reason, by chance only he was able. Stryver laughed and then pointed to a large pile of papers. Because he was busy with the papers, so he laughed and then pointed Sydney Carton towards the pile of paper. There is your work for tomorrow and don't be late with it. I won't. Showed him his tomorrow's work and asked him not to be late. Sydney, do you remember our days in the student quarter in Paris, where we tried to pick up French and French laws? Then he reminded him about his French days in Paris. You were always much better at it than I, yet look at you now, working for me and earning a clerk's wage. he reminded him about his past, where he was doing much better than Stewart. But now the time is changed. Though he was working much better, but he was working for Stewart and earning clerk's wage, not earning so much. You were always better at making yourself hard. I just can't be bothered. How you are, he did not bother about that. What a pity, Sydney, what a pity. But I do believe I can do nothing to change you. What a pity that you are still in that situation. But he was very sorry that he could not do anything to change him. Stewart put on his coat to leave and turned to Carton. And then he put on his coat and turned to Carton. What do you think of our pretty witness, Sydney? Pretty? Is she not? No, that's strange. I could swear you look at her very fondly. Well, you are wrong here. So they now here they are talking about Miss Manette. She was the pretty witness, pretty, and he also know that Mr. Carton, he was very fond of that fair lady. Carton showed Stewart down the stairs with his candle. Outside it was very cold, grey night. He came back into the office and collapsed at the desk and cried till the paper on it were wet was wasted tears. He knew he could do nothing to stop the sadness eating away at him in an incurable disease. Carton guided him down the stairs, took him out of the room, and then, as it was very cold outside, he came back into the office and then he sat on a desk. Collapse on a desk means he sat by making a sound on a desk and cried till the papers on it, and he was crying very badly, and the paper that were there on the desk were wasted with tears. He knew who about whom it is being talked here, Mr. Sydney Carton, whose condition he was crying and he wasted all the papers with his tears, and he knew that he could not do to stop sadness. Sadness means he could not express his feeling to that fair lady, and it was there like an incurable disease for him. Thank you, beta. So this was your chapter number 3 from novel The Trial.